All right, cool. My name is Jay Horton, and I spell it the correct way, J-E-H, Horton. The reason that's the correct way is that's how I spell it, and that makes me a lot easier to find on Spotify. About 16 months ago, I was at a gig. I'm a professional musician, and this gentleman in the jacket over here is probably one of the best singers in the Metroplex. And I'm in his backup band. I'm one of his minions. And he tells me and the bass player, he says, hey, man, we're going to do this thing. It's kind of crypto deal, mine. I don't remember what all he said. The main thing he said that I remember the best is if you give me $1,000, you might make some money. You might lose your $1,000. We don't know. So I was stupid enough to give him $1,000. And over the next few months, I kind of just forgot about it. Although I did think about it when I was at my daughter's wedding, and there were some of my running buddies there. If y'all don't know what a running buddy is, those are the guys that you talk to once a week, you go fishing with, etc. So I told them about it at the time. I remember saying, I might have thrown $1,000 away. And they all said, well, let us know how that goes. None of them said, hey, let me throw $1,000 away with you. One of them, my buddy Tony, and I own a truck together because when my father passed away in Florida, because I'm not a bush, I can't register a vehicle in a state I don't live in. So we told them he was my brother and registered the truck in both of our names, and that'll be important later. Anyway, so I told these guys, they all said, yeah, you're nuts. If you make money, let us know. And I kind of forgot about it. And then we're playing another gig in July, and I hear the bass player go, hey, because he bought shares too, or bought into the mine too, and he says, hey, I want some more of those mines. And Eddie was like, okay, and he took care of him. And I thought, ooh, we must have made $100, maybe $200. Grand, $200, 4 months later is pretty good return. So I thought, well, I ought to check into that, and then I completely forgot it. And then in August, I got COVID, and I was sitting home bored, and about the third day, I thought of Eddie for some reason. And I thought, I wonder what happened to that mine thing. So I call him up, and he goes, oh, you download this app and scan this thing and blah, blah, blah. And it took me a little bit to figure it out because I'm fairly technologically challenged. And I open it up, and there's $6,800 in there. And I thought, well, this is not what I expected. So I had no idea what I had my hands on, but I'm going to tell you what I had my hands on. So Eddie, that's him in the jacket. By the way, it's $9.95 to buy these mine shares. Eddie told me $1,000. Don't let him get out of here without giving me my $5. I'm just kidding, obviously. Eddie had been working with this guy named Bobby Gray for about 15 years. Is that right? 15 years? You can correct all the stuff I do wrong tonight. And they were doing gold and silver. They were minting coins. They made the Ron Paul coin. They did all this kind of stuff. And Bobby was trying to get municipalities back in 2010, 11, 12 to use gold and silver as a local currency because it doesn't inflate like the dollar, right? And he was just not getting anywhere that I know of. And there are several problems with using gold and silver. One is if you're buying something that costs a whole lot of money, it's pretty heavy to carry a big old bag of silver around. Another one is you can't really buy anything from Amazon. What are you going to do, ship them the silver? So he likes to tell it he was riding his gold and silver horse and buggy when the Bitcoin rocket went right by him. So he started making products for the crypto industry, including what's called a cold storage wallet. Will you hand me one of those ETH coins? They're right under the desk. Right there. You don't see them?
No.
To the right.
To the right.
Right there. There we go. I should have grabbed one before I got up here. They started making these coins. Remember, they were coin minters. And what they did was they assigned these QRs on them to what's called a cold storage wallet for crypto. And they started making them for Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum. Y'all made a bunch of them, didn't you?
Yes.
Made all kind of these different coins. And as they were making starting this cold storage wallet business, which is a way to store crypto that can't be hacked, they, oh, that's my Litecoin. As they were doing that, Bobby started studying the crypto industry. They started buying and selling some crypto and getting involved in it. And after looking at Bitcoin for a while, Bobby decided, I think I can do this better. So he sold his entire business, sold all the equipment that he was doing the minting with, and took that money and built his first digital mine and started developing the Texit coin. Now, I don't understand how all that works. So if you need to know how that works after we're done, and you can corner Eddie somewhere and make him explain it all to you. So January of 2024, he started working with the mine and figuring out how to make it mine coins and all that. In April, he felt confident enough to start finding people who were interested in putting money into it. And one of those idiots was me. Not that I knew Bobby, I just knew Eddie. And, you know, Eddie gets us really good gigs in the band. Sometimes we make, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks. So I kind of trusted him about money. And by May, they had started to release the coins on Dex Trade and sell them. And they were selling for 2.8 cents. By the time I looked at it in August, I'd have to go back and look, but they were around 6 to 8 cents a coin. So I had made a lot of these coins by buying in early, and for it to be $6,800, and I didn't realize really, you know, that it was going to do anything like that. So I called Eddie back up, and I said, I want to buy some more of this stuff. And he said, well, if you do that, buy it in your daughter's name and your wife's name, and they'll give you some more mind power when you get to 3 people. So I thought, well, that's cool. Well, in the meantime, all those running buddies, I started calling them because I don't know about y'all, but my friends get mad at me if I'm making money and they could make the money too, and I didn't tell them. So I called all those guys back. Almost all of them have bought into the mine since, still not knowing there was anything else I could do about it. And one of them, Tony, calls up Eddie and talks to him, and Eddie signs him up, and I get the extra mind power. Well, I keep calling people, and they keep signing up. Eddie calls me up a week later, and he says, hey, man, you got $1,000 coming. And I said, what? You didn't tell me there was any money involved. He said, yeah, I don't like that thing. It's kind of like Amway or something. And, you know, I don't like that sort of thing. I think it looks dumb. He's a little more positive about it now. But he said, but yeah, you got $1,000 coming. So he sells me $1,000. So now I've bought a couple more, but my original one, I'm playing with house money. Now, I say all that to say this, a couple things. First one is, I didn't know there was a referral program. So obviously you don't have to refer anyone. The main thing we're doing here is building this mine. And if you want a piece of that mine and make some of these coins every day for the next 135 years and watch them continue to go up, remember they were at 8 cents when I first looked. They're at about $3.15 now. So they're going up every week, or almost every week it seems like. And as your share makes you coins, or your part of the mine makes you coins, they go up in value. I've got the one I bought for my wife in August. She's never referred anybody. You don't have to refer anybody. She's got one mine. We'll just call them mines, even though they're a piece of a mine. She's got one mine that I paid $9.95 for. It's got $38,000 worth of Texit coin in it right now. Now, there are people who will tell you it's going to be at this value in 6 months, it's going to be at that value in a year. I don't have a crystal ball, and God doesn't leave a stone tablet at the foot of my bed telling me what the price of Texit coin is going to be, but I can tell you what it's done. Some more recent people that have gotten in, I just got off the phone with my cousin. He bought, I think in March, he's got, or maybe February anyway, he bought after she did, he's got $6,500 in his already. A guy that I talked to in April that bought in, he's got $1,500 already. As a matter of fact, he was so shocked he almost cried when I told him how to read his wallet. So that's all you really need to know. You can buy these, you can buy into the mine, you can keep your piece of the mine. It'll make these coins every day. So far they've gone up in value. Is there a risk? Yeah, anything that'll return $38,000 for $9.95 in a year is a risk. I'm sorry, there's a risk. People ask me, what is the risk? I don't know. I'm not a financial expert. I'm a guitar player. I really, people ask me sometimes how the computers work. I go, do I look like a computer guy to you? I can barely count to 11 without taking a shoe off. But, so, all that being said, it's $9.95 for a single share or a single mine. You can buy up to 9. If you buy 5, you get 1 for free. If you buy 9, you get 2 for free. That's all you really need to know to decide if you want to do this or not. Please do not assume you have to refer anybody. I'm about to tell you about referrals, but I want you to keep it in the back of your mind. I don't have to refer anybody. I can't tell you how many people have asked me last minute before they signed up. Now, how many people do I have to refer? None. So, as soon as I got off the phone with Eddie, after buying mine and my daughter's and my wife's name, I called my buddy Tony. Remember Tony with the truck? And I told him what we call a southern, I'm trying to be politically correct, a southern fairy tale. Everybody knows how a regular fairy tale starts, right? Yeah. Once upon a time. Southern fairy tale starts out, y'all ain't gonna believe this. So I told Tony, I sent Tony a picture of my wallet with the $6,800 worth of coins in it. He took the number of coins, and at that time, Bitcoin was selling for about $60,000 a coin. Tony's a geek, so he did the math. He says, you know, if this goes to the level of Bitcoin, you've got $4.6 billion. I said, Tony, I don't expect it to do that, but if it does, you can have the truck. I think that's pretty generous. It's a 20-year-old truck. It still runs good. So he gave me my 3rd personal referral. By the way, just in case you're keeping count, I hit 90 yesterday. Nice. I'm still not in the top 4 because of those freaking lunatics that are holding people down on street corners and making them buy in or something. So we have 2 programs. The first one is the one I mentioned earlier. It's called 1, 2 Free. Eddie says it should be 1, 2, 3 free. A lot of other people, you hear a lot of other people agreeing with Eddie, but Bobby likes the way this sounds, and Bobby's in charge. So our opinion doesn't matter. 1, 2 Free is the 3rd person you personally refer. You don't have to refer anybody. The 3rd person that you refer, they'll give you another piece of the mine. So if you started out with 1, now you got 2. If you do that within 30 days, they'll give you 2 more pieces of the mine. So now you got 3. So you've got a $3,000 or $2,985 value, and you only spent $9.95 because you referred a couple of people. That's the one program. People want to mix these programs up when I tell them about them. Forget about this one when I tell you the other one. Forget about that one when you're referring people. The other one works like this. It's the part that Eddie does not like, or did not like. He says he likes it now. $3,000 a week will do that. So Eddie's running along, and he tells me and Russ about this thing. There's me. Here's Russ. He tells some other guys, Cesar, Lester, etc. Then when I call up and I buy the share in my wife's name, she went here, my daughter went here, Simone, and then Tony with the truck, remember Tony? He went here. Well, each of those was one piece of the mine. For each mine you buy, or somebody buys in your group, you get 1 point. So Eddie already had 9 points over here because he hadn't been sitting on his hands for 4 months like I did. But since I had 3 points, if you have 3 points on each side, you get $1,000. Or you can trade that in for 2 more mines. If you get 6 on each side, you get, anybody figure out what the math is? You get $2,000 or 4 more mines if you want to trade it in. If you get 9 on each side, you get $3,000. By the way, it's in USDC, which is a dollar-based crypto, but we can teach you how to turn it into cash. It's not hard. And you get 6 more mines. So what do you think happens if you get 12 points on each side? Somebody who doesn't know already, what do you think happens if you get 12 on each side? You think you get $4,000, right?
Right.
No.
No,
You only get 3,000. It's limited at 9. They won't give you more than 9. And because of that, I had 2 weeks ago, I had 3,300 points. I had like 200 on one side and 3,100 on the other. And I still only got $3,000. They don't care how many points you have past 9. And that's why it doesn't work like what some people like to call a pyramid scheme, is I can't make any more than somebody who just signs up tonight in points. I can only use 9 points a week. That's all I get. I can make $3,000. You can make $3,000. The guy at the top doesn't have the opportunity to make more than the person at the bottom. It's part of the genius of this thing. Say again? No, every week you can get up to 9 points.
So if I only get 2 people in 1 week, not 3, I miss my limit.
No, that's the other cool thing. So a lot of times, here's me again. A lot of times I've had like 4 points over here and 3 here, and I made the $1,000, but the next week I started with 1 and 0. I get to keep that point. Anything below 9 you get to keep. You can have 9 on one side and 8 on the other side. You'll get the $2,000 or the 4 mines, and you'll start the next week with 3 and 2. No, it just stays there till you use it. But everything you get past 9 is gone. First time that happened to me, a guy, I had 2 points on my left. I had 9 on the right. A guy came in and bought a 9 share, so I lost 2 points. Then he bought 3 9 shares in each of his kids' names, and so I lost 29 points. I almost cried. I'll tell you a really sad story, other than the fact that I'm losing 3,000 points a week. A really sad story. I had 1 week I had 9 points on one side, 8 on the other. A lady signs up Friday night. Our points go in Saturday at 7. She signed up Friday night for my last point on that side. So I'm gonna, for the first time ever, I'm gonna limit out and get $3,000. I'm so excited. Her Zelle held the money up and didn't clear till Monday. And I was like, well, dang it. And the next week I had 16 points over here, so I didn't even get to use the 2 that were left over. And I remember calling Bobby and saying, can't you fudge it a day? And he goes, no. He said, when you start limiting out every week, getting $3 grand a week, you won't really care about that $1,000. And he's right. It's still the most generous plan I've ever seen for the amount of work you do. So that's the entire plan of how we market this thing. And the reason we're marketing it this way is so that average Americans or average human beings, because you can buy it even overseas, can own part of the mine, can own mines. And nobody can own enough that they can control it and tell everybody else what to do. It's a crowdfunding effort. You can buy, now I've been told you can buy more than 9. You can buy 2 more 9 packs, and it's a 27 pack or something. But it's not on the website yet. I haven't figured out how to do that. I think that's a lot of money to put into something that's risky, but hey. So, back real quickly. You can buy up to 9. You can earn unlimited. You can keep earning pieces of, earning mines by referring people.
What does having a mine do?
Do what?
Why do you want a mine?
Oh, because it produces coins every day that are worth money. I like to liken it to a silver mine. If me and Eddie and 8 other guys bought the equipment, we all put in $10,000 a piece. We bought a silver mine and the equipment to mine it with, and it puts out 100 ounces of silver a day. Then each of us get 10 ounces of silver. Fair?
Fair.
But let's say there's only 6 of us, and one of us has got a lot of money. And he puts in $50,000, and we each put in 10. So he's got half of it, and the other half goes to us. We still get the 10 ounces of silver, he gets 50. That's how it works. The more of the mines you have, the more coins you get a day. As they go up in value, they're worth more money. I can't tell you what, I've told you what it's done before. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to do because I don't know. tomorrow, you know, we could have a revolution in this country for all I know. They're shooting people apparently already based on politics. Anyway, that's the bottom line. That's what we're doing. Remember, there's up to 9. If you buy 9, you get 2. If you buy 5, you get 1. If you buy 1, you get 1. That's a pretty easy, for me, that wasn't a big deal. For some people it is. And that's what I want to say before I close this. If this number is going to make your kids go hungry for a week and a half, or mean you can't pay your credit card bill, or you can't pay your house payment or your car payment, don't put that money into this. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You're not going to have $1,000 the next week back. It's going to be a while before you break even. Even? Well, they like to say 200 days. I've not seen it take more than 90 so far. But I'm only going by what is done in the past.
We'll undersell it. It's 5 months.
5 months. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to even do it in 5 months. But in the past, you have typically broken even in about 90 days as the coin goes up in value. Again, I don't know what it's going to do in the future. But if that number's going to cause a hardship, don't put that money into this. It's not worth it. The other cool thing about doing this is there's a lot of crypto heads in this thing, and if you don't know anything about crypto, they will teach you. I'll teach you the little limited amount I know, but there's other guys who love crypto who will explain more than you ever wanted to know. They'll have you taking apart your computer to see if it'll mine Bitcoin. That's the bottom line. That's where we're at. If you're a person of faith, I think you should go home and pray about this before you decide what to do. If you're not a person of faith, I think you ought to roll the dice. But I will take a couple of questions from the group. After that, then I'd rather you talk to the person who brought you if you want some more information, or you can come talk to me or Eddie or anybody else in here who's been around a while. We'll be glad to answer questions for you. But I'll take one or a couple just to get us started. Yes, ma'am.
So at any point, you can make a decision to cash out.
Correct.
And how hard is that to cash out? And is it then a percentage of what you get back in U.S. dollars, or how does that work?
That's a good question. Well, I just found out we're on. Do you know we're on some new platforms? Bobby just said that on the Ranger chat.
I was working last night.
We're on something called Bing X now. There are crypto platforms. There are some platforms where you can buy crypto and buy stocks, like Robinhood. You guys heard of Robinhood? There's Kraken. There's Coinbase. We're too small. We're still a baby. We're not on any of those. But we are on, apparently, Bing X. The one I use is called DexTrade. And it's essentially, there's about 200 and some odd crypto trading platforms. That's the one I like to use because it's user-friendly and I'm pretty stupid. So I use DexTrade. You can literally transfer your Texit coin from your wallet into DexTrade. You sell it for something that's called, we're a trading partner with USDT. They call that a stable coin because it's based on the US dollar, which is a joke because the US dollar is not stable. But it's within a penny of the US dollar at any one time. You cannot take the USDT straight from DexTrade to your bank, but you can move it to something like Coinbase or Robinhood or Kraken, and then you can withdraw the cash. They will charge you a gas fee. I don't know what it is right off the top of my head. It's usually 1.9 to 3%, but that's less than you're paying Visa, because every time you make a Visa purchase, they're getting 3% of it. That's why the prices are what they are. The merchants figure that into it. But you basically send your money, send your Texit coin to DexTrade, sell it for USDT, and cash it out. Is it a little bit of a process? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No, it's not that hard. It seems hard the first time you do it, because if you're not used to the crypto world, because you're copying addresses and pasting them in and all. But once you do it once or twice, it gets real easy. And the cool thing is, you cash them out today. Tomorrow, there's more coins in your wallet, because you're not selling your piece of the mine. You're only just selling off the coins it produced. Another question? Yes, sir.
I was just going to state that, so like on Monday, I sold $1,200 on DexTrade, and within 20 minutes, I had it in my bank account.
Yeah, it's not that hard to do, especially since you got people that'll help you. Part of what we're doing here is a community. We have trainings in here. We don't charge you to come learn about how to do all that. You just come sit in here and take notes, bring your laptop, and learn how to do it. Yes, sir.
So we're still working with Texit.
Yes, we're still.
One of the meetings said they were moving away from Texit to another.
You do have to be careful with Dextrade because there's a U.S. government policy. Can you speak to that better than me? Because I really don't understand it.
Well, yeah, some of these exchanges do not comply with SEC regulations and the like. So, in order to operate on those platforms, you need to do so anonymously, and you can just set up an account with an email address and a phone number, and you're good to go.
They want
Trade all day.
They want Americans to trade on there, but they want to have plausible deniability to be able to say that, you know, gee, we don't know there's any Americans on here, so the SEC can't come in and start asking them all kind of questions and driving them crazy.
So with this being X, is that the difference?
I don't know. I literally learned about that 20 minutes ago on the Ranger chat. I'm what's called a Texit Ranger. I know that's funny. And so is Eddie. It means that we're leadership in this thing. And we're supposed to go listen to a chat on Wednesdays as part of that deal. Oh, yeah.
I was on the phone.
Yeah, Eddie and I never do. We're always doing something else. But on the Ranger chat, I was on it just briefly, and I heard him mention that we're on Bing X now, and I looked it up. It looks like it's an American platform, so it looks like we're cool on Bing X. Which means, of course, that's going to increase the coin value because you got more people who can buy it now, more people are going to be looking at it. Who knows what's going to happen, but it could just go insane.
Yeah, and also there's, I mean, you can go through an exchange, but like the gentleman who wanted to sell some coins, there are plenty of occasions where people will say, hey man, you know, I want to go on vacation next week. Can you buy $6,000 worth of Texas? Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Most of us will buy.
Your bank direct. I will send you
Yeah.
right now.
I'll hand you $100 bills if you want. Yeah, there's some of us that'll buy your Texit coin anytime you want to sell it.
Right. And your position. If you want to sell your position, now that's a negotiable asset as well.
Yeah, mine's actually for sale if you want it. It's $80 million. So if you got $80 million, I'll be glad to sell you my position, and
Prices are higher.
and
People's prices.
I'll go sit on a boat somewhere and go, please bring me another old fashioned. And you can be me. Yes, ma'am.
How are you taxed on it?
I don't know anything about taxes. I'm not a tax official. I can tell you what Bobby Gray says. He says your relationship with the overlords is your relationship with the overlords. I will say this, and this is an opinion, but I wouldn't put anything in the bank that I wasn't willing to report to the IRS, because if they audit you, they can see what went in the bank. That's just my personal opinion. I personally report anything that goes in a bank account. And I also report anytime somebody gives me cash. Maybe. Or maybe not.
Every single gig we've done, every tip jar that we cleaned out, you reported that.
I reported it as Eddie, as Eddie Allen, Timothy Edward Allen. And when you did, what you don't realize is that I was able to get your Social Security number a couple of years ago. So you actually are making about 50 grand a year more than you think.
So the name Texit obviously connects with Texas, but people around the world are able to join
Correct.
Texit, correct?
90% of the mines have to be bought by people in the U.S. They can be in Canada. I'm not Canada. That's not the U.S. They can be in Alaska. They can be in Hawaii. They can be in Puerto Rico. They can be anywhere in the U.S. That's 90% of the mines. The other 10% can be sold overseas. Somebody called me from Bangladesh today, or from New York, wanting to know how to market in Bangladesh. And I don't know. I don't live in India. I did send them the 1, 2 free and the binary off the website. But 10% can be sold overseas, and I believe U.S. servicemen are treated as if they live here, right? I would think so too. I can't imagine that they don't count them as overseas because they're forced to be overseas, and they're not over there because they want to be.
Isn't there going to be a trip to Asia next month?
They do offer prizes if you refer a lot of people. They offer some little trips and stuff. I went to Hawaii in June. There's a trip to Thailand starting next week. I'm not going on that. I do not have time to be 12 hours away and trying to take phone calls from one of the 12,500 people in my group at 2 o'clock in the morning in Thailand because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. So Bobby and I agreed I didn't have to go to Thailand. You probably had the same conversation. Are you going?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell people to call you at 2 o'clock in the morning there.
I'm going for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to Singapore after that.
I'm not going to either one of those. I got too much to do here. Yes, sir.
Points. Something about, I've heard about points when someone sponsored below, points rise.
Yeah. So anytime, back to that little thing that looks like a pyramid. Every one of these people that you refer, they have 2 legs just like you do. Now, if you're smart and you work it the way, or you work it the honest way, in my opinion, what you do is you keep referring people down here, so all these people get those points. If they refer somebody over here, that's how they match the points. But all of those points go up to you anyway. So that's how I'm getting 3,000 points a week, because these guys below me are all putting in points every week.
So you're only getting points up to you on the next side?
No, I get them on both sides. You have 2 sides. Now, it depends on how your sponsor and your upline are working their group. Some people just refer people and say, knock yourself out. Put people on both sides, get yourself some points, make some money. I was taught by Bobby that if these 3 guys have got 3 points each on their other side, then if I sign somebody up that buys 3 mines, I should put them down there so they can match their 3, and they can get a bonus. That's called working as a team. That's the way. No, that means they got 3 on each side. If they've got 3 on the side they're working, and they're in my power leg, I'm going to put 3 below them, as quick as I can.
So the Amway that you said you didn't like, it matters where you place your people on what site. So this is not the traditional.
No, this is a binary. Here's the big difference. And for those of you the MLM people, in Amway you can go as wide as you want. You can put people out as far as you want. None of these people get any points from anybody else you put in. And each of them builds a group, and hopefully you help them, right? In a binary, you only have 2 legs. And each person only has 2 legs. And typically what you do, or at least what I do, is work the leg that the other on one side while these people work the other. This guy does, there's people all up in my group that don't refer people. They've had 9 points since August of last year. For 13 months, they've had 9 points sitting there because I'm building down here. They don't use them, that's their problem. Anybody who's putting people over here is using those points as fast as I can put them in a lot of times.
When I signed my wife up,
Uh-huh.
she got on about the 9 and 2.
Yep.
There was already 9 on the other side.
Yep. Somebody had already put 9 on the other side, so you made $3,000. Fun stuff. It's the easiest money I ever made, personally. But again, I'm a guitar player, and I've done things like mow yards and clean buildings for a living, so I can still play guitar and get away with it.
And remember, where I was confused like on hers, I wanted the hash, which is the coin, but I was set up wrong. So make sure you can change it back and forth.
Yeah, remember I said you can take the $1,000, or you can take two more mines. You actually can set your preference up on your login on the website and tell them which one you want.
Hash, or TXC.
Yeah, you can actually get Texit coin for your $1,000 if you want. Not a bad way to go right now.
That's right. $1,000.
When they're $1,000 a coin, you only get 1 coin, but by then there won't be any mines to sell anyway.
Right. He knows where
And
to go
actually,
from there.
that's the other big thing, the other big difference between something, or several differences between something like a traditional MLM. How do you get your residual income from an MLM? Anybody know? You get it from people downline buying a product every week. They're buying soap or vitamins or whatever. The product here produces the residual income. You get your residual income, I can't even say it, from the fact that you're getting coins every day. There is nothing to buy after you buy that your first mine. You can buy more if you want, but there's no requirement to do that ever. There's no auto ship. You're not going to have a garage full of soap or vitamins, or be paying for prepaid legal fees that you're never going to use or whatever. In this case, the product is the residual income. The other thing is, those things are designed to just keep going forever, right? Amway's been going on since the 50s. There's still people doing Amway. This thing's done when the last mine piece sells. When we get to 1 million seats on the rocket, or 1 million mines, we're done. As a matter of fact, I'm guessing when we get about 20% from the end, those people who buy mines then will not be offered a compensation plan. They'll just be buying a product that makes passive income, because there'll be nobody for them to refer. Yeah.
Some merchants accept Bitcoin for payment. Are there any merchants that accept Texit?
We're not big enough yet, but what we're going to do is layer something called downtown dollars on our coin. We've already got 2 towns that are interested. We just don't have enough liquidity yet. There's not enough out there on the market. And what they'll do is, and these are just numbers that I can do quickly in my head. Let's say at that point, once we get to that level of liquidity, that a Texit coin is worth $100. If they layer 100 McKinney coins, that's one of the towns that wants to do this, on our coin, they'll be worth $1 each. And the idea is that you can walk in with your phone with your little Texit coin wallet or your downtown dollars wallet, and that merchant you can scan a QR and pay them, just like you would pay with Apple Pay or something. That's our long-term goal, is to be an actual utility currency in Texas by layering on our mined coin. Cool enough? All right, if you have more questions, I'll be hanging out. I'm probably got some people to onboard, actually. That seems to be about half my day is onboarding new people. And come by and ask me, or ask the person that brought ask Eddie. Yeah, that's a little old. Yeah,
Remember 40 cents?
to give you an example, of how this has gone up, we opened this place in March, and that's what the coin was at, and it's at $3.15 now.
The ones at the airport are only like $1 or something.
You know, that because they're not like the billboards. They don't get the number from CoinMarketCap. They're just a static picture.
The billboards are nice though.
The billboards are cool. They're always up to date off CoinMarketCap.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, feel free to ask Eddie questions like, why is the sky blue? And